I'm here with Richard Capps, the course director of the Mechanics of Loan Documentation Distance Learning course. Richard, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yes, Taya, thanks very much for giving me the opportunity to talk about this new distance learning course that we're doing for loan documentation. My background, just very briefly, I trained up as a barrister, but in the mid-70s moved across from law into banking. 11 years in banking on the lending side and on the corporate finance side. And then a number of years, 6 years as chief financial officer of a company with the dual head office in Los Angeles and in Australia. So legal side both on the borrowing and on the lending and on the private practice side as well. So a combination.
Can you tell us a bit about the content of the course?
Yes, it's broken up into 8 modules. The participants on the course have 2 weeks to review each module and to assimilate the tests associated with each module. We start off by talking about the background of law. Some of the people attending come from a civil law background, and so common law is a little unfamiliar to them. So we start off with the background of common law. We then have a couple of modules that take us through the loan agreement itself. We go through into guarantees, which are very technical documents, English law guarantees, as well as letters of comfort. We then go through security documentation. Security is a very complex area. It is also jurisdictionally specific, so we do focus primarily on English law throughout the entire program. Then we go into insolvency and how insolvency law changes the rights of the parties in both security guarantees and loan agreements. And then we finish off with structured financing, specialised financing, and how the documentation works in those transactions.
Can you tell us a bit more about the format of the course and how it works?
Yes, as previously mentioned, it's broken up into 8 modules. For each module, the participant reviews the written materials. There is a test for them to see how well they have absorbed the content of each module. And then at IFF they maintain a forum whereby anything that's not clear, anything that requires further explanation, clarification, they post their question or inquiry, and it's open to the other participants on the course as well. They can render their comments, I certainly render my own, and a dialogue then gets going on the various subject matters that are raised.
People obviously have the choice of coming to us in London and going on the public loan documentation course or taking the distance learning route. What would you say the advantages of the distance learning route are?
Well, of course, there's pros and cons to both. As you say, they have the choice, a 3-day training course, or the distance learning. The distance learning is extruded over 16 weeks. People can absorb the information at their own pace, in their own time, at their own convenience. It's less disruptive to their work. If travelling to London is problematic in terms of either time commitment or indeed cost, then of course it's very clear benefit the distance learning. Some people would like to absorb it not 3 days intensively all at one moment, but to have this greater period of time to absorb the content. The interaction is still there because of the forum that we discussed. You know, they can still get their questions answered, albeit in written format. And in an extreme case, if something was really problematic that they couldn't get resolved, then of course we could go through the written format through to a telephone conversation, you know, to get any problems or issues or questions resolved, so that the subject matter can be applied in a practical context in their actual work.